Hi, I'm Brian, or Fat Dad from Fat Dad's Woodshop, and I'm doing this video today in order to show you about a technique about gluing two pieces of wood together temporarily. There's a lot of different reasons why you might want to do something like this, and I'm going to show you a few of them now. Now, I know a lot of different ways of doing this kind of thing. I know a lot of people like to use things like double-sided tape, and that's fine. But a lot of times, double-sided tape tends to be very thick. It can also leave behind residue. And sometimes people have a hard time finding a double-sided tape that they like, or when they run out of it, they can't find more. And I'm going to show you a way to do this kind of technique with more common materials. Now, what I'm going to use is pieces of masking tape and a little CA glue or super glue. And I'm going to use that to adhere my wood piece to something else temporarily. I'm just going to take a regular piece and put it down nice and tight onto one surface. And do the same thing to the wood I want to temporarily attach it to. And I'm going to apply a small drop of glue to my tape back. And you can also, if you want to, you can spray activator on the other side of the tape if you want it to glue set up really fast. But you don't actually need to. All you got to do is actually wait for a little bit. So I'm going to put some glue here and glue here. And run that down. And it's very important that you make sure that the super glue doesn't squeeze out and actually directly contact your wood or your other surface, because then your temporary glue job will become considerably less temporary. So now that I've given this a minute to set up, I can now take this. It's on there really solid. I can take this and I could use a router and route this outer edge, or I could sand this and I could keep that. It will stay in place while I'm doing stuff to it. And also, there's no clamps in the way. So I won't be sanding this and bumping into a clamp and have to constantly move the clamp, or routing around the edge and I have to move a clamp out of my way. That's all completely out of the way. This is also a really great technique when you want to do something like use a router template and you want to attach a router template to the top of your work, and then the router template can just stay in one place. This is a strong enough adhesion. You can also use this technique to join two boards together temporarily. And the reason that you might want to do that is because, let's say you had to drill a series of holes through two pieces of wood and they all had to match up, say like you were doing some knife scales. You'd be able to join these two temporarily and then pop them apart when you're done. Another great thing about this is that when you're done, you can just take a putty knife or something and get in between there and just pull or sometimes just grab them and pull them apart, and they just come right apart. And when you peel the tape off, there's no residue. There's no real mess, and you're just using common stuff. Another really great use for this technique that I've found is when you want to make a larger panel and you have to join several boards together in order to make that panel, and you don't have a joiner, or you don't want to use your joiner for that, but you sometimes will have gaps in between the boards that you want to get rid of. You can take your two boards and you can place them together, and you can temporarily glue a scrap piece across them, and then you can run your table saw in between on that joining plane, and the table saw will joint both of these boards together so that they fit perfectly together. And I find that even though I have access to a joiner, I find this to be a really great way to make panels.